find it interesting how people sell today. And for the most part, it's based on how people buy. And taking a look at how large players in industry have presented themselves over time is you can almost see the logic in it. For example, if you go back to the 1940s, I'm in my 50s, so I wasn't living back then, but it was always Macy's and Gamble's, where it was mostly mid to high end product. The fortunate were the ones that were able to go. It was the stores were mostly downtown. In fact, back at that time, it was actually against the law to have a large retail stores outside of downtown. And then they changed those laws over time. And then Gamble's in World War II, people were a little disenchanted with war. They wanted to get a little more out of life because they recognized that life was a little shorter. And so they were presenting a little more of a glitzy appeal to customers. And then in the 1960s, it was Kmart, where let's have a flat store where it's affordable to all, but user-friendly, where it was wider aisles. In fact, when it comes to aisles, if the psychology of shopping, a wider aisle will make you walk slower, smaller aisles make you walk faster. So if you pay attention to that, you'll see the ones that you really want to pay attention to as far as aisles and stores are concerned. But Kmart understood that customers wanted space. And they came up with the blue light special. And blue lights, police officers, alert. And so from time to time, they would have these intermittent sales while you're in the store. And that worked for a while. And then in the 1970s, it was more the stack stores, Montgomery Wards, where we want to have more of a department store, but let's put more in less space. It's cheaper to build upwards. So that's when we wanted to go into that. That's when you start to see more malls and then signature stores like JCPenney, Sears. And then at that point, things changed in the 1990s. And the reason why I go from 1970 to 1990, there was a gap of recession, if you remember. So there was not a lot of innovation when it came to marketing because people were just trying to save what they had. People weren't going to buy because in reality, they really didn't have. But Nike came along and they showed how the customer were the important thing. They recognized that people bought from celebrity, that you can appeal from an experience standpoint. You could be this if you had that. And it worked very well. From there, it changed again. If you remember Build-A-Bear, that was true customization. You would go into a store, figure out what you wanted from texture, clothing, and you came out with this product. It was amazing. But what it taught industry and customers that what I really would like to see is customization. I want to be customized. So M&Ms came up. You can only have not only the M&Ms with the M&M on it, you can have little sayings on it. And customization became in vogue. And then later on, it was Target. Notice I didn't say Walmart. It was Target. And the reason why, Target catered to a higher end buyer, but box store-ish. But when Walmart finally came on the scene in that same time frame, everything changed because their box stores were bigger. They hit the point where A&P, Atlantic and Pacific, where they had the store, they had groceries, we have clothes, you can get your car fixed, you can get eyeglasses, things just changed. So the game changed, and that's where we are right now. But the thing is, the buying habit of the customer continued to change. From there, it was Apple. We knew the PC came out in the 80s, but it was the marketing flair that came about. It was when Steve Jobs came back the second time to Apple that it's about experience. It would be really cool, not just to have your music, but how do you feel when you have your music? How do you feel when you have this really slick computer? And they don't say, hey, we have a functional computer. They say, we really care about innovation. You want to work with us? Yeah, I think I do. So it appealed to the intellect of the customer. The next one in the 19 was like 2006. Ralph Lauren in the fashion space. We returned to fashion in a sense where it was actually important to look good and smart and clean. You know, ZZ Top talks about the well-dressed man. They reminded us of the need to look good, because if you look good, you feel good. And then things changed again. It was more of an evolution of Amazon. Now, understand this. Amazon doesn't make anything. They don't make a thing. What they recognize is it's all about distribution. In fact, most products that we buy, most of the cost is about distribution. So Amazon recognized that and created a space in our world where we buy from them. $15 billion company. And I'm going to conclude with this. It's 2015. What's the buying habit now? It's about on demand. Netflix. They said, customer, we've been giving you on demand videos for a while now. It's time to stop. And you have to pay $15 a month. And because of that, their market share is over the top. Blockbusters is gone. Those mom and top video stores are gone. And if you look at Netflix, their stock prices, which is close to $1,000 a share, is because they recognize that people want not things, but they want experience, they want knowledge, they want information, and they want it at home or on their phone. So as we look at the evolution of how people buy, it dictates what you should do next.